Good morning again. My name is William Lillis. I'm the Director of Business Development for Mining in Latin America for Trade and Investment Queensland. Welcome to our first event of several events that we have scheduled for the rest of fiscal year. We will host some webinars and also business rounds during the remainder of the fiscal year. And we would like to start off by providing uh, a brief briefing about the Chilean mining market. This particular briefing will focus a lot on copper and how the impressive increase in copper pricing is positively affecting the copper project pipeline in Chile. So I hope you're all in. We have 39 attendees at the moment, and this event will be recorded and can be viewed back on YouTube, as I understand, later on. So and we will also share this presentation for anybody that would like to have it. So here we go about our Chile mining market briefings with updated information and fresh information. So you all know who we are, Trade and Investment Queensland, and we are Queensland dedicated agency for global trade and investment with 60 international offices and 8 regional offices. And our job is to connect you with the world and the world with Queensland. Today, we will look at these different topics. We will provide you an update with the COVID-19 situation in Chile. Many companies have asked what the situation here is and when they could travel into country. So we will give some information on that. Also, the impact COVID-19 has had on the mining and resources sector here in Chile in 2020, how the sector performed in 2020, and an outlook for short-term outlook for 21 and 22. We will look at a couple of flagship mining projects and their status, and we will also share the calendar of events for the remainder of fiscal year. So the COVID situation in Chile, we will share some numbers. I know all countries have managed the COVID differently. It has been difficult for all countries. I wouldn't like to qualify how Chile has done it, just share the numbers with you. Up to February 20th, so last weekend, Chile had reported close to 800,000 positive COVID cases and 26,700 deaths due to COVID. Last 2 weeks, we had an average of 3,400 new COVID cases per day and 76 COVID deaths per day. And the last 2 days, we've seen a slight improvement, but the weekly average don't look better than this. The government took early measures in regards to COVID, and they applied a plan that is called the step-by-step program. It's a 5-step program where step 1 includes very strict measures as quarantines, all day long and many activities that cannot be performed. And then going to step 5, which is reopening of most of the business and recreational activities. Santiago, where our office is located right now, is in step 3. That means that most of the activities are open. We do have a curfew starting at 10 p.m. every day and going through 5 a.m. the next day. Step 2, for example, considers everything is open from Monday to Friday, but closed on Saturdays and Sundays. You are allowed to fly into Chile, but you will require to have a negative PCR test taken 72 hours in advance, and you have to quarantine for 10 days. There is an exception to that. On day 7, you can take another PCR test, and if that comes out negative, you don't have to quarantine anymore. So many companies have asked when they can travel into Chile. You can travel into Chile right now. The airport is open, but achieving things business-wise, especially in the mining sector, will be a bit difficult. There are no visitors allowed to mining sites as of yet, and that remains. We have even seen some mining companies that have their corporate offices in Santiago and their mining operations up north, and they are not allowed to travel to sites. So we will have to be patient with that. That won't occur uh, any sooner, and we don't have a date when those restrictions will be lifted. And those are internal measures from the mining companies. Good news, if you look at the COVID numbers, they don't look good, but the good news is that the Chilean government started a massive vaccination campaign on February 3rd. The goal is to vaccinate majority of people at risk, which are about 5 million by the end of first quarter of 21. We have seen very good progress. Yesterday, more than 3 million people have been vaccinated with their first dose and 55,000 with the second dose. So those numbers makes Chile a leader in Latin America as far as vaccination. The objective is to vaccinate a total of 15 million persons, which is about 75% of Chile's population, and experts said that will provide a certain degree of immunity. And that plan, the government wants to achieve it from here till June 2021. So we hope that with this vaccination campaign, the COVID situation can be a bit under control, and that will open more businesses and also will allow people to travel into the country. So we have great expectations on this vaccination campaign. The government is doing impressive with 150 to 100,000 people vaccinated per day. How has the COVID situation impacted the mining industry? The first thing the mining industry did here in Chile, mining industry is very mature. They adopted very strict health and safety measures, and the main objective, of course, was to protect their workers and also to maintain operational continuity. First measures that were adopted were send non-essential personnel and contractors home, consultants were sent home, and also the work rosters were adapted. Many mine sites use a 7x7 work rosters, and they went to a 14x14. They also work with reduced rosters. Some of the larger mining operations use commercial flights to fly their workers in, and they started using chartered flights or bus trips. COVID service had to be filled out at the beginning of every shift. They implemented a lot of technologies, thermal cameras, types of sensors, sensors to use or to maintain social distancing. And a couple of months ago, all the mine sites started to require negative PCR tests for their workers before they could go up to their weekly shifts. We saw early on that some expansion of new projects were halted, but after a couple of months and implementing new procedures and new health and safety measures, they were soon picked up. Some of them were 2 or 3 months halted, others for a bit longer. Some of the sites operated with 40% of their regular rosters, and they privileged people from nearby locations. So for example, most of the mining operations are about 1,300 kilometers up north from Santiago, and many people fly in from Santiago. So they privileged the persons from those regions up north, which is the region of Iquique and Antofagasta, where most of the operations are located. The critical month were April and May last year, and numbers show that production, copper production in this case, fell by more than 30% compared to the same month in 2019. As far as COVID cases, the Ministry of Health reported that about 0.5% of the workers in the industry have tested positive for COVID, which is a relative good number compared to other industries. But despite of all difficulties, copper production was only 1% below compared to the output in 2019. So overall, I think the mining industry performed pretty well from a health point of view and also from a production point of view. As in all things in life, all these challenges and these very difficult challenges with COVID-19 present opportunities. We have seen at many mining operations that these new COVID measures, as far as health and safety, they will remain. So they will keep requiring new technologies to control COVID-19. Personal protection elements that are being used right now, they will stay in place. They have seen that they can be much more efficient with reduced work rosters, but that also requires implementing efficiency and improvement systems. So we have some companies that work in that space, and this could be an opportunity. How am I as efficient or more efficient with a reduced work roster? Work from home arrangement will remain for admin personnel, also for non-operational roles, but also for some operational roles. We have seen some mining operations remotely controlling with remote monitoring centers, and some people even working out of home with huge monitors controlling a plant operation or a mine dispatch working from home. I know it's not ideal, but technology is in place, and mining companies are looking for more technologies for remote operations. And we have also seen that the mining companies have taken a faster adoption or 4.0 technologies. Our colleague here at TIQ, Sebastian, he's been working in that space and sharing information, but remote operation, remote monitoring, new sensors, big data, IoT, robot and autonomous systems are things that mining companies are requiring right now, or at least looking into, and many companies have implemented an innovation department or autonomous system programs or robotics. So those are things to look at right now. Those are things I wouldn't say there are positive impacts of COVID, but opportunities arise from difficult challenges. This is one of them, the new way of doing mining. Here is some comparison on how the mining sector performed in 2020. Again, it's very important to highlight that this is focused on copper production, and that is because we will soon have another event focused on gold. So today we will focus on copper. In 2020, Chile produced 5.7 million tons of copper, which is equivalent to 28% of the global copper production. Chile is the main copper producer in the world. And as I said before, this is only 1% less than the tons that were produced in 2019. In this graph, you can see a comparison between 2019 and 2020, and Chile remained pretty close on what they did in 2019. I hope you can see the slide. Anyways, we will share all the information with you if you want to have it. What we did here, we separated the copper production per company, not per operation, but per company. So you can see Anglo American, Antofagasta Minerals, BHP, and Codelco. It's not in any order, it's just alphabetic per mining companies. So you can see how the mining companies performed and how many tons of copper they produced in 2019 and 2020 and compared to that. So of course you can see that Codelco is very important here, producing 1.6 million tons, but also BHP with only 3 operations producing 1.4 million tons of copper in 2020. In this slide, we separated the production per operation, and from the larger number to the smallest number. And you can see that BHP Escondida is the main copper producer in the country and in the world, producing close to 1.2 million tons in 2020. Collahuasi is huge, and then some Codelco operations and Antofagasta Minerals. We will get to those operations a bit later and include some more details of what they're doing as far as new projects. The outlook for this year and for next year looks pretty positive, and that's mainly driven to this impressive increase in gold price. Copper today was at $4.21 per pound, which is the highest number since August 2011. That increase is mainly driven by low copper stocks in the international market, and our local experts foresee that this copper price could reach $4.5 per pound in the near term. The Chilean Copper Commission, Cochilco, who runs all the stats on copper production, as of today, they are foreseeing an average price for the remainder of the year of 3.3 and 3.0 for 22. This price will be reviewed in August this year, and some more optimistic experts say it could be 3.5 for 21 and even 4.0 and 3.3 and 3.5 respectively for 22. How important is this? An average mining operation here has a total cost of 1.8 to $2. So of course, this margin from $2 to $4 is huge, and it could drive this immense copper portfolio Chile has. Chile today has 35 initiatives from here to 2028, worth $66 billion in new copper projects, and I mean new and expansion copper projects. The projects that are going to be started up from here to 2023 total $15 billion, and they could heavily benefit from this new price. So companies are being encouraged to get those projects faster off the ground, considering this impressive copper prices. What does it mean for the Chilean government? Chile receives $22 million extra per every cent increase in copper price. In Chile, in 2020, Chile received $3 billion from the Codelco operations and also the mining royalty and taxes. And experts are foreseeing that this year, and that will depend on the copper price, the country will receive an extra income from copper from 1,500 to 2.6 billion US dollars. So those are impressive numbers, and that is all driven by this copper price. I shared this before in other presentations, and I know it's difficult to see, but this is Chile's mining investment portfolio, and that includes these 35 copper initiatives worth 66 billion US dollars. So if you want to have more details on this particular mining portfolio, which is set from 2020 to 2029, please reach out to Brandon or myself, and we'll be happy to share this information with you. In this next set of slides, we will focus on some of these mining projects. There are 35 initiatives. It would take a long time to get to all of them, but I will also explain what comes next as far as events that TIQ will deliver, and where we will focus on more opportunities. The projects that we will look at today, and very brief, there's 1 or 2 slides per project, are Teck's Quebrada Blanca 2 project, or the QB2 project, the Codelco El Teniente expansion, which is an underground mining project. I also included Salvador, which is not that big in size, but it's a transformational project within Codelco. Salvador has always been mined underground, and they are just shifting to an open pit operation. That's why it's included in here. Antofagasta Minerals, their big project today is the incremental expansion project, also called the INCO project. And as per the request of some of the attendees, I also included the Mantos Copper Mantoverde development project, and you can see the name of Ausenco in there, and I will explain that later. Teck's Quebrada Blanca project is located in Iquique. Iquique is about 1,500 kilometers north of Santiago and about 500 kilometers north of Antofagasta, where all the large mining operations are located. This particular project has a capex of 5.2 billion US dollars. It's a bit higher than it was last year, and that is mainly because they had 2 or 3 months delay due to COVID, and they also had to take additional COVID measures. They had to adapt their camp and dining facilities to maintain social distancing and some other measures. So it increased the capital requirements in $500 million. This particular project will have a life of mine of 28 years, but that is only using 25% of the known reserves and resources till now. And they expect to produce over 300,000 tons of copper per year. Start of production is estimated for the last part of 2022, Q4 exactly. At this moment, the project reports a 40% advanced, and the EPC is being performed by Bechtel, and Ausenco has part of that package assigned, and that's made to some auxiliaries and port facilities. I have a link with some pictures, the update of QB2, but in order to our time, I will share that by email or put it on our LinkedIn site. Very nice pictures of how this project is developing. The project considers works in a mine area, concentrator plant, tailings facilities, utilities, port facilities, and a desalination plant. In this picture, you can see where the mine area is located. Here at the top, it's a very high elevation. Utilities, which is mainly a pipeline that goes through the port facilities, and a desalination plant. So the mine operation will use seawater. Again, for additional information and detailed information of any of these projects, please reach out to Brendan or myself, and we will be happy to provide that for you. And also, we can put you in direct contact with Bechtel, that is doing the EPC, and also to Teck. Codelco, as you know, Codelco is the state-owned copper company here in Chile. They are made up of 7 what they call divisions, but a division is basically an operation. The El Teniente division is an underground copper operation. It is expanding with a capex of $3.2 billion, which will increase the life of mining 50 years. They expect a copper production of over 400,000 tons of copper per year, and the start of production is estimated for the end of 2023. The overall project advance is 64%, and the project considers 3 new areas: Andes Norte, which is the new mine level, which is deepest mine level, and about 300 meters below the current mine area. The Diamante project is a separate area that will include the construction of 40 kilometers of tunnel, and Andesita, another level, will include 25 kilometers of tunnel with 85 mining phases. What is interesting about this project, they want to run Andesita and later on the entire project with autonomous equipment, and hopefully electric autonomous equipment that will be operated from Rancagua, a nearby city. They call that the Integrated Operation Centers. And this particular Codelco division has a very ambitious plan, and they want to run their entire fleet electric equipment by 2030. So again, many opportunities for remote operations, autonomous operations, and also see what we can do in this challenge with an entire electric fleet operating this underground mine. Here's more of a detail of what the works will include: the mine level, the mine access, and the auxiliary facilities. So it includes construction of different levels, ventilation system, transport system, crushing facilities, transportation tunnels, bridges, water management systems, water treatment plants, pumping stations, and warehouses. We have full details of what this division is required, and we will be happy to share that with you. It is also important to note we have 2 Queensland companies participating in different stages of this project, and if they are willing to share the information, we can do that later on as well. This is how it looks. So this is the El Teniente ore body. Here is the sector that is currently being mined, and then there will be an intermediate sector called Diamante. and the lowest level is the new Andes Norte level. And this is Teniente, the deepest level. So very interesting for those of you that provide services in the underground mining space. Of course, there is also Chuquicamata, but we will tap Chuquicamata in a different session because that is also a huge underground mining project. But this one is being developed, it's under construction. TIQ here in Latam is in direct contact with their project department. They call it the projects VP. And we are supporting a couple of Queensland companies doing business with these particular project in the three different areas, which is Andes Norte, the deepest level, Diamante, the intermediate level, and Andesita. Another of Codelco's division, and this division is about 700 kilometers north of Santiago, called El Salvador Division. It's located in a town called El Salvador. What is interesting about this particular project, it has been operated for years underground. If they continue operating this underground, life of mine ends this year. So Codelco got approval to start an open pit operation called the Inca Pit at this particular division. That Inca Pit has a capex approved of close to 1.4 billion US dollars. And that will increase life of mine in 47 years. And they expect copper production to be 30,000 tons of copper out of this project per year, and production to start in late 22. Right now, the project is in pre-qualification. It had some delays for their environmental approval, but it's being backed by government. And also that they are sending out RFIs to the different contractors they will need to develop this project. So it's a transformational project in Codelco, going from historical underground mining operation to open pit mining. They will start with pre-stripping for a 22-month period. The other thing is El Salvador always used small mining equipment, and the pre-stripping phase and also the operation phase of the open pit will consider at least 240 to 300 ton trucks. So they're going ultra class in this project, which will be totally new and will require training and for their personnel and operators. So that pre-stripping is that is being it's in a bidding process. Large earth movers of the country are participating in that. They will not build new plants, but they will improve the existing concentrator plant and also the existing leach plant. And they will also bid out several what they call sanitation works, with our earth removal, civil works, structural works, electrical piping, among others. And that tender process is on the way. Here's a lot of information, but these are the specifics that this division is required. And again, we will be happy to send out this information to you, and also about the current bidding process and all the services that are required by the Inca project. Here's just a picture of where the Inca project will be located. So right now it's an underground operation, but in this particular area, they call the crater area, that would be the location of the future Inca pit. Los Pelambres is an operation of Antofagasta Minerals. Antofagasta Minerals is a Chilean miner, Chilean copper producer. They have several operations in the country. Los Pelambres is located about 150 kilometers north of Santiago. It's a huge operation, and they have phase 1 and phase 2 of their expansion projects. We will only focus on phase 1 right now, because phase 2 is still under environmental approval. This has a capex of $1.7 billion, and also it increased due to COVID measures. They had delays last year. They had to shut down for about 2 months, and they also saw an increase of their subsea works in a new desalination plant. This will increase the life of the Pelambres in about 15 years, and they expect to increase copper production to 50,000 tons per year, and start is estimated for Q3 of 22. As of last week, total project progress was 45%. And what they will basically do in this project is reinforce their ore processing capacity. So they will expand their existing plant. They will also expand the existing stockpile for their ore. And they will construct a new desalination plant. And this will be the first copper operation in Chile to use seawater only. So again, for those of you working in the space of pipelines, desalination plant, inverse osmosis plant, this is a great opportunity, and also the importance of this project just using seawater only. And that is also driven because of the scarcity of water throughout Chile, so and especially in the mining industry. So here you can see the province of Chuapa, again, 150 to 100 kilometers north of Santiago. This will be the desalination plant, and they will pump water to this plant first and then to the mine. So again, all the processed water will come 100% from seawater. So what will Pelambres do? A new milling line, new mills, increase the stockpile, concrete tunnels for a new ore stockpile, additional electrical rooms, desalination plant, reverse osmosis plant, a very special pumping system, and pumping stations to get water to the plant and to the mine, which will include a 61-kilometer pipeline. Last week, we got a request to include some information on the Manto Verde project. Manto Verde is owned by Mantos Copper. It was owned in the past by Anglo American. Mantos Copper also owns Mantos Blancos up north, close to Antofagasta. They are developing this project that they call the Manto Verde Sulfide Development Project, which has a capex of close to $800 million. For a life of mine of 20 years. They expect to produce around 100,000 tons per year out of this project, but they also will produce about 30,000 ounces of gold per year. And start of production is estimated for late 2023. The project is currently under construction. It considers mining works, tailings dam increase, electrical power transmission, desalination plant, and a drive system. What is interesting about this project for us at Queensland and at TAQ is yesterday Mantos Copper announced that they assigned the entire EPC of this project to Ausenco. TAQ has a good relation with Ausenco here in Chile. For those of you that were in the Expomin briefings last year, we had a project manager from Ausenco delivering information on QB2, and those are the same persons that will be running this EPC with Mantos Copper. So happy to get you connected with the staff at Ausenco here in Chile, and also very happy for Ausenco to have landed this very important EPC project for them. So we are considering to have a special session with Ausenco here in Chile, and so we can put all of those you that are interested in this project in front of Ausenco and discuss more details about the opportunities with this particular project. So what is next for TAQ? Considering travel restrictions, we know that that won't occur soon. We expect vaccination in Chile to change that in the near term, but we have no expectations on visits, travel into the country, and visits to mine sites. Uh, so we decided to move all our events virtual again this year, the same as last year, and we came up with this very impressive calendar of events, so you can stay connected with the mining industry while travel restrictions are lifted and it's safe to travel into the country or the region. Uh, on that note, and I forgot to mention it, Expo Min, that was scheduled for April last year. Then we moved to Expo Min virtual in November, where some of you participated. Expo Min rescheduled the presential event for April this year, and this week it was officially postponed to October, November this year. So Expo Min, presential Expo Min in April is not occurring. That is official. We don't know about a new date in October, November. We don't know if it's going virtual. So anyways, we have replaced that particular event with some of our TAQ events. So you can see next week, we will have a similar briefing about the Peru mining market. We will have a guest from the mining industry. We have two people that want to participate. We will confirm one of them, probably from Gold Fields. We will also have the guys from Link Miners that will present specific operational challenges from the industry. And that is occurring next week, same day, same time. The week after that, we will have a Colombia mining market briefing, same day, same time. So it's Thursday, 9 a.m. for you. I focused this event on copper because on March 25th, we will have a business matching event with Yamana Gold and their operations here in Chile. Yamana runs two gold operations here in Chile, both underground. It's El Peñón mine and also Florida at Web. So you will all be invited to this event. It will have a bit of a different format. Yamana Gold will present their projects and also ask for some specific requirements for their operations. And then we will focus more on gold instead of copper, what we did here. Then in April 12 to 21, which was the week of Expo Min, we are working together with the Antofagasta Industrial Association and Antofagasta Minerals to host the first Antofagasta Queensland Week. We are in the process of signing an MOU between the government of Antofagasta and the government of Queensland. This MOU is mainly focused on mining, but will also include other sectors such as education and tourism. And as part of this signing ceremony, we will develop a series of events. The first one is a webinar where Antofagasta will present their capabilities. Specifically, they have a business development center, they have a mining qualifying system for suppliers, and they also host Exponor, which is the second largest mining show in this part of the world. Expo Min and Exponor, I would say they're on the same level. The audience changes a bit. Exponor is more operational. So Antofagasta will share information on those three items. Then TAQ will present what we do, what our capabilities are, our Queensland Mets, what we have to offer to the industry. We will have some information about Study Queensland. We were asked to participate in a hydrogen webinar it's an international webinar occurring in May, but there will be some workshops as to educate people about hydrogen, what it is and what it does, what it's used for. So TAQ has been invited to host a session and to present what Queensland is doing in regards to hydrogen. Then we have, and this is interesting for all of you who are looking for a partner, agent, or representative in country, a business matching event between Queensland companies and Antofagasta companies. So that will occur on April 19, and we will finalize that week with a business matching event with Antofagasta Minerals. That is why I didn't share more information on Antofagasta Minerals. They do run large mining operations here in country, and we have an agreement with them that as part of this Antofagasta Queensland Week, they will give us a 2-day space to sit in front of them, talk to their operations manager, procurement managers, present our capabilities, and hopefully that turns out in business opportunities. Then in May, we will continue with the business matching event with Newmont Corporation. They have operations throughout South America, large operation in Peru. And so again, the date is set. We will send out the corresponding invitations once we move closer. And we will finalize this fiscal year with a Codelco business matching event, going through all their operations, and BHP. Dates have not been set, but we have an agreement on format, and Codelco will occur in May, and BHP will occur in June. So you can see pretty busy calendar. We at TAQ want you to stay connected with the mining industry here while travel restrictions are lifted. And again, if you want more details on what we presented at these slides or about the upcoming events, please reach out to Brendan or myself, and we will be happy to get that information back to you and connect you with all of the operations of your interest. So that's my presentation for today. It's the first one of a pretty tight calendar, and now we would like to receive your Q&As. I think the Q&A option is enabled. Brendan, can you support me with that?
I can indeed. We've got a question from Corey, which you already answered, that centers around the timing of ExpoMin. So answered and asked, I guess, is probably the better way to put it. But we've got a question here regarding the personnel at Ausenco and whether we'd be happy to share the contacts there. I'm personally of the belief that maybe we wait for the briefing from Ausenco before we share them. They may not be in a position to respond directly to requests from prospective partners. What's your read on that, Bill?
I discussed it with Ausenco today. They are happy to support Queensland companies in their project. So let me discuss with them tomorrow. But they said it's no problem to share information about the project and also to provide content information. You may know Pablo from Ausenco. For those of you that were in the ExpoMin briefings, Pablo gave some information about the QB2 project, and he will be the one delivering information on the Monteverde EPC project. So happy to share his contact information, but maybe I will discuss it with Pablo tomorrow. Maybe it's best to wait for this Ausenco briefing where all of you can participate.
And our good friend Rolf Fandrich has also asked about your database of the 35 new projects. Is there any indication as to the level of maturity? Because obviously some of our METS partners will want to engage with a project at certain times of their development. Obviously, Rolf's timing on these developments is very specific. So, is there any content available where we can see the which projects are still requiring approval from the regulatory authorities?
We have that. We can share that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I think we've cleaned them out, mate. I think that's it.
Great. I'm looking for more.
Sorry, Rolf excuse me, Rolf just sent a message.
Okay. No, Raj is also asking for contact details of Ausenco, and Raj, I think we have answered that. Happy to share contact information. I would suggest to wait for Ausenco for the best timing so they can provide a briefing to all of you.
There's a question here from Gary. He's asking if the safety culture is important with Chile mining.
Yes, I can take that question. The Chilean mining industry is very mature in all regards, and health and safety is probably I wouldn't say priority. It's just part of culture here. There are very advanced health and safety measures. And it's also important to mention that when BHP Escondida started up in early 90s, they introduced all the health and safety measures from the Australian mining industry, and the rest of the industry adopted those measures. So you will see the same high standards as you would find back in Australia in the Chilean mining industry. Very high and strict health and safety standards.
And another question from Rolf was, any chance of you sharing those wonderful slides that you put together for us?
Absolutely. I think, Brendan, what we could do is just PDF this PowerPoint and put it on the METS expert cluster.
Oh, good idea. Yes, thank you. So that one's fine. Oh, Dr. Chris Dorans asked us, is there any specific Industry 4.0 initiatives that TIQ is aware of for modernisation of control systems, automation, etc.?
We can share that specific government initiative that includes 4.0 technology in the mining industry. There is a roadmap developed by the mining minister, and we can share that.
Rolf's hot to trot. He'd like to know if you could please explain to the group the process of the business matching that we've got coming up.
What we do first is we send out a list of capabilities and companies to the mine owners, mine operators. They select the list of the capabilities they're looking for. And we also have an extra space to put in our capabilities that we think that we can recommend according to our knowledge of those companies. So normally we end up with a group of about 30 companies that get us a 15 to 20 minute space to provide a pitch to the operations manager or procurement manager. That is more or less the format.
And Nathan Owen is asking about the digitization and automation in Chile, how it's progressing. Would you describe it as mature or embryonic or somewhere in between?
It is on its way of getting mature, but it's advanced. I wouldn't say it's in infancy. No, it's much more advanced with that. And there are mining companies that have innovation management included in their organization charts. Others have automation managers. So it's on its way of getting to that mature stage.
What would you say would be some of the restrictions, some of the barriers to that developing maturity?
I would say at this point, unfortunately, we have, I wouldn't say lost, but it's 1 year that nobody can get onto mine sites, and mine operators have only focused on meeting their production targets. So I think once restrictions are lifted, we have several companies on a waiting list. Just we want to get them out to the sites or connect. But at this point, I would say the main obstacle has been the travel restrictions and COVID-19.
So I guess the digital and cabling and the infrastructure needed for sophisticated automation is available and accessible.
Yeah.
And
yes, for example, we've seen in other markets, for example, Mexico. Mexico doesn't have the same level of maturity as Chile, and they're still looking for enabling technologies that can lead to include digital and automation technologies. Chile is past that point. We have the enabling technologies in place, and digitalization automation is being implemented at several sites.
Okay, we're starting to get a steady stream of questions now. From Jason Brennan, he was just inquiring about the current regulatory environment in Chile around exposure to dust or respirable particulate. So he also comments that we're seeing rapidly developing regulatory changes here in Australia, and does that look like it's translating into Chile as well?
Same thing here, and I think he refers to PM10 particulate material. So yes, we're seeing the same restrictions that are occurring in Australia, and I don't know if you're aware of the Expand initiatives, you who are listening. They normally come out with challenges of dust mitigation programs at mine sites. So yes, there is a rapid development of and regulatory changes in that space as well. So very important. Keep an eye on that. And I think we have a presentation on that from the Chilean mining minister. So we can share that with Jason as well.
Cool. Question from Gabriel. Would the business matching event be focused to new projects or projects that are currently operational?
Operational and new.
Very good. And Mike has asked if sustainability and climate change are a high priority in Chile mine blasting methods.
Absolutely. So, Mike, if you're listening, that is something we are discussing on a high level with some CEOs at mining operations, and we're still trying to land that into actual business opportunities.
I'm glad you're able to join us, Mike. I know you've had some difficulties with the link, so I'm glad you could get on board with us. And we also have another question here. Do you know of any mining company that collaborates with technology development?
Yes, actually, there is a group of companies that collaborate with the Expand the Open Innovation Initiative, which is all about technology. The companies in Chile that participate in that initiatives are Codelco, Teck, Antofagasta Minerals, and BHP. So they collaborate with technology development through the Expand the Open Innovation Initiative, and we are allies to Expand in their what they call their international ecosystem. Every time Expand is looking for new technologies, they come to TIQ, among others. So we are totally connected with those initiatives.
Okay, excellent. I think that's exhausted the Q&A dimension to the session this morning or this evening in your part of the world there, Bill. Shall we wrap it up there, or do we have?
I think so. So I would like to thank all of you who attended to this first briefing about the Chilean mining industry, mainly focused on copper. Please stay connected for this calendar of events. We will be sending invitations out soon, next week and the week after that. Keep an eye to these new projects that we shared. If you want additional information on the business matching events or any type of information, please email us. So we're here to support you. We're always looking for new opportunities in the mining industry. We're trying to be very proactive by constantly talking to the mine operators and also looking for all our new offerings out of Queensland. So please stay connected, contact us, email us, and we will be very happy to reply to all your requests. So thanks again for sharing this space with us. Hope to see you next week on the Peru Mining Briefing, and have a great rest of the day. Brendan?
Thank you, everybody. And I'd also like to offer a particular word of gratitude to you, Bill, for all your effort, you and your team there in Santiago. Great work. Thanks so much.
Ciao.